Acts chapter 20.
Okay.
It says plainly that they came together for fellowship and the breaking of bread. Okay. And when asked, even of and I don't know if they have any. Hebrew Israelites up here.
I know one.
Hebrew Israel.
I know one.
Anyway, the reason that we worship, the reason that we fellowship, the reason that we come together on the first day of the week, it is taken after the biblical illustrations. It is taken after what's communicated to us that the New Testament church did. The reason that we don't have worship on the seventh day, as it were, on the Sabbath day or Saturday, is because we are following the example of what's presented to us in Scripture. And if anyone asks, and even the issue of obeying the Ten Commandments, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. That was a directive, especially for the Jews, not for the New Testament church. It was a directive, especially for Israel, okay? Not the New Testament Israel, if you will. It was especially for it is an Old Testament a mandate, as it were. But we again take after the example of the New Testament church, that they came together on the first day. Jesus arose on the first day of the week. When they came to the tomb on the first day of the week, a Sunday, they found that Jesus had arisen. And no doubt, now we don't have anything in the Bible whereby we are mandated to have worship on a Sunday either. Just so we're clear on that. But as to why we worship or why we fellowship, particularly as we do, it is after the New Testament illustration. That's what we want to have. But every day is a day of Thanksgiving. Now, if you can have worship every day. The fact of business is, our living ought in fact be worship every day. Okay? In worship of God, that's right. Okay. So it was the first day of the week. What specific warning did Paul give the Ephesian elders that also applies to present day pastors? And now, I left this so that you can kind of put it in your own words as you understood whatever text you would use to put it in your own words. Whatever text you would use. So, what specific warning did Paul give those Ephesian pastors?
Beware of wolves in sheep clothing. False prophets.
Okay, beware of wolves. Okay. And now, the reason that I italicized here, it was specifically for these pastors, because Paul warns them that the wolves would be some of them. Okay? So often, and I've just down through the years, people talk about sheep and wolves clothing, sheep and wolf clothing, wolves in sheep's clothing. They talk about wolves in sheep's clothing, but the specific, well, amen.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
All right.
Praise the Lord. Good to see you, young lady. All right. The specific warning was for those, and just get this as the text has set it up. And what's there in the text is, now Paul has all of the Ephesian pastors together, And he is literally saying to them, some of y'all ain't with him. Y'all feel me? So some of y'all ain't, even though you here getting all this here with me, praying with me and all this, some of y'all that's listening to me, Paul has said, some of you all that's listening to me right now. Yeah. So then, and what was the text? What was the text?
Acts 20, 28 through 30.
Acts what?
20, 28 through 30.
20, Acts chapter 20?
20.
Acts chapter 20, verse 28
28
through 30. Okay, 95. Although Paul had been warned not to go to Jerusalem, his brief stay after getting there was one of his more. Okay, now pay attention to the question. Paul had been warned not to go to Jerusalem, right?
Right.
More than one time he received warning, don't go there. But when he did get there, it was one of the most fruitful evangelistic efforts that he ever had. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the verse? Yeah. When he gets to Jerusalem, y'all remember? Say what now?
I chose false on that.
Okay, because
he also went against what he had been preaching,
okay,
because he shaved his head, did some of the
okay,
Messianic
Mosaic.
tradition, and therefore, and at the end of that, when they finally did come out of that,
Right.
they in the temple arrested him, took him out.
Okay, so then what would you find then? She said that she said that it wasn't one of Paul's most fruitful soul-winning efforts.
You said pay attention to the word.
Huh? Exactly. Because when he finally gets to his people, finally gets to his own folks,
They couldn't do all that.
and what they do to him?
They burned his head and actually reduced himself to lying.
So he bent over and submitted to taking part in a purification ceremony, right? And as he is in this period of purification, he is in the temple, and they come and they mob him.
Cut him out, beat him up.
That's right, sir. That's right, Brother Earth. They come there and beat him up. They come up there and beat him down. So then, and where would you find that particular
That was in
information?
22, verses 22 to 23. Also 21, 20 to 25.
What's to say there?
In that 21, 20 through 25 is where he reveals to them about how he had a zeal for God as well, but they still didn't have what he had, which was redemption through the
Mighty fine. Okay, well that's proof text. Okay, so then, the issue of what happened to Paul when he finally gets to Jerusalem and he is allowed to share. He is allowed to share, and they seek to kill him. They would have killed him if the Roman guard had not gotten there and stopped them from killing him. Mighty fine, very good. Okay then. Yeah, it is false. Right. Paul didn't win a whole bunch of folks when he got to Jerusalem. On the contrary, James tells him, he said, man, some folk have heard that you here, and they upset. Because they're saying that you are trying to make little of the law of Moses. You know, trying to make little of that old covenant stuff. Okay, which was a lie too. All right. 164. All right. When Paul was taken into custody by the Romans there in Jerusalem, what prevented them from harming Paul before putting him in jail? Somebody said, okay, when Paul was taken into custody, what prevented them, the Romans, from doing more harm to him? Because they wanted to interrogate him. They wanted to know what. They wanted to see, well, how come they're putting you in jail? We're gonna see if we can get you to confess by putting the little on you, right?
Yes.
He was a Roman citizen. Roman citizen.
So the fact that he was a Roman citizen stopped him. Anybody else? It didn't matter that he was innocent. Now remember, he told him he was a Jew of Jews. He was a...
No, it wasn't no Jew.
Okay then. Paul. So it didn't matter that he was innocent.
No.
Not to the Romans.
Well, when later on, when they was passing him back and forth, there was a couple of big dogs said they didn't see nothing where he had done.
Right. But when he was in Jerusalem, what stopped him?
I got Roman citizen.
I'd say it's Roman.
I have a question.
Yes.
At this answer here.
Sure.
At 22:25.
Yes.
At the end it says that he is a Roman and uncondemned. Does that mean innocent?
Sure does.
Okay. So you got two answers?
No.
That's what Paul was saying. That's what Paul said, he was Roman and he was
Unconditional.
unconditional.
Right. Okay. But the answer to this question.
This man is a Roman citizen.
That's right. The fact that he was a Roman citizen
Yes.
at this particular juncture saved his life.
Yes.
Okay?
Before two.
And that's according to Acts what?
22, 26.
Acts 22:21,
26.
22.
22:25.
22:25.
All the way to 29.
This man.
D.
Yes, I am.
25.
All the way to 29.
So in that account, one of the centurion's guards finds out. One of the centurion's men finds out that Paul is a Roman citizen. They're getting ready to interrogate Paul by whooping. They're getting ready to beat Paul some and try to get him to confess. You know, we want you to voluntarily confess with the help of this stick. We get ready to put it upside your head. And so it gets back to the centurion that, wait a minute now, you don't want to be beaten on this man. Now, if he had just been a Jew, they would have looked his head. Yes.
So in 29 it says the chief captain was afraid.
Yes.
But he knew that he was a Roman and because he had bound him. So he knew that he was a Roman.
Yes.
So is the answer in 29 or is it in 25? Or is it 25 through 29?
25.
All right, okay, that's what I want to know.
Right.
Well, that last verse that you read there is answer.
Okay, 29.
Okay, that's answer. The bottom line is he was a Roman citizen.
Yes.
And they get treated different.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, point about this though, he really thought this was going to get him out like it did when he was in Philippi. Remember when he was in jail and they was going to let it go, but he said, no, you can't do this with something going on. He really think that was going to exonerate him or what, or the Holy Spirit already told him that he was supposed to go to Rome.
Well, you answered your own question.
I mean,
But she said, well, no. The Lord, God had already told him that But now, God didn't tell him exactly how he was going to get there.
But I'm saying that could have gotten him out like it did when he was in Philippi. You know, gotten him released.
Well, no, it couldn't have. The thing about it is, Paul is a man, isn't he?
Yes.
Right. Well, just consider that Paul is a man that just got his behind hooked something terrible in the temple. You know, they fight folks in the church. They still fight folks in the church. They beat him up terrible in the church, and the word of God says they would have killed him. They wanted to kill Paul. Okay, well now, here you have somebody that's all beaten up, already tore down, and now he's getting ready to get interrogated. Well now, the thing that I would be doing is, now I know what the Lord told me, but now I'm still trying to figure out how am I going to stop these folks from whooping my head even more. And so anything that he could think of that would stop him from going through further torture, as it were, then I'm doing that. Like Paul. So what he told them is, being a Roman citizen, you know, you can't treat me like this. And he knew that, but the Holy Spirit had already told him he wasn't going to die there. But it didn't say, well, since you're not going to die here, just let him whoop your head. Right? Since you're not going to die here, just let them do whatever they want to, and I'm with you. But now I know you're with me, but now I'm using my mind to think of how to get out of this beat down here. Okay? All right. Okay. You do this okay, here we go. I should have brought, I'm thinking we didn't make it to this, these answers here, these questions here. Okay, it says, as Paul related his conversion experience to the Jewish mob, what one word did he speak that ignited them to anger? What one word? Jesus. Jesus. What you say? Jesus. Paul is giving them this testimony, and they all good with it. He's going over the law stuff, what the law and the prophet said. But man, when he said got down to, and Jesus is, it's all. And you know what? You can be talking to some folk about, you know, but now, you mention Jesus, then here we go. Here we go. Now we getting ready. Why you got to bring Jesus? Talking to your family about ups, downs, the ins and outs, and folk want to know, at least in some of my experiences, that, you know, I say, well, man, how you been doing like that? How you I said, man, you looking well. You know what's I said, well, I'm not. This is what I do. You really want to know? Now you ask me. You really? The Lord is good. God is good. Jesus. So when Paul says, and Jesus fulfilled. Paul talked about the resurrection from the dead. And now, he got on the, that's another thing too. Nowhere does it say that a Christian ought to be stupid, ignorant, weak-kneed, a walking map for this world to utilize however they will. In every instance, what I pray that you're seeing is Paul was one of the most intelligent men of his day. And it really is not known how diverse his linguistic skills were, but could speak at least 7 different languages. You get what I'm saying? So certainly, in learning all of those different tongues and that kind of thing, see how God was preparing Paul the apostle, the sent one, to different tongues,
Okay.
different nations. Because he could go there, and that's another thing too is, this issue of, the Holy Spirit giving Paul the ability, well now, the Holy Spirit didn't have to give him the ability to speak to all of these different tongues because he already had learned the language. See what I mean? So then, it is not, to be a follower of Jesus Christ is not this weak need crutches to live your life and all this other kind of thing. It is about being the fullness of who God created man to be. In fellowship with him. And God is the grace of God, the goodness of God is incomparable. You cannot compare it with anything that we have to offer. Because we don't get anything, what's this here? Anything that is good, anything that is kind, anything that is noteworthy, anything that is praiseworthy, you didn't get it from yourself. You got it from him. And that's how come you don't bring anything to God to make him say, well now, you know I'm worth your love.
Yeah.
Bless me because of my sin. But we get beside ourselves, and that metaphor talking about getting beside ourselves. I was talking to Nikolai on the way up here. See, that's how come the Bible talks about you being able to fool yourself. That's right. You being able to you heard the issue of, if you tell a lie so long, well now, they actually have proven, well not they just proven, but now, it's been proven, psychosomatically speaking, that you can make yourself, it's just like, I know you love me. I know you. I don't love you. I know you love me. Because you can get yourself, and really it's called an altered state of consciousness. That's how come folk that and take this in the spirit I'm giving. That's how come. Now I ain't never did it, ain't never been there. But now in my days as a young man, in junior high school and high school, well now it wasn't just super popular amongst my peers, but now when we got over there with a certain group of folk and they were popping these pills and whatnot, and they popped the pills and said, man, you see that thing crawling up the wall there? And you said, now, there really is nothing crawling up the wall. But their cognizance, their consciousness has been altered. Instigated by the drug, yes. But see now, we can do that to ourselves without the drug. And the drug is us.
Well, Pastor Trump did.
Huh?
Trump did.
Oh,
He created an alternate. He's
However, the bottom line is, be not deceived. So every man so. And so when the folks stand before, Jesus says on that day, there are going to be folks that stand before and say, well, I did not cast out devils in your name. Didn't I do all of these things in your name? When I was at that church for 100 years, did I sing in the choir all those years? You saw how the folk reacted when I sang. You saw how the folk reacted when I preached. You saw. And now you're going to condemn me? Jesus never says you didn't do that.
Never says that.
But he did say, yes sir, you did it, but I didn't know you. And you will be cast into outer darkness. So you can't work your way to worthiness. You can't sing your way. Can't preach your way. Can't talk your way. You can fool yourself and you can fool other folks, but you cannot fool God. We have an arrogance, I'm sure I'll get by. I'll get by. Oh, it won't happen to me. That's how come my young folk do what they do. Yeah, I know that's what happened to them, but not, it ain't gonna happen to me.
Right.
Yeah, I know they were smoking that stuff or snorting that necessarily, but that's because they didn't have the control that I got. Ain't gonna happen. Oh, I know they're sleeping around and all this other kind of thing, but see, they ain't taking the precautions that I'm taking, because that ain't gonna happen. Not to me. No. That's part of our inclination. That's the inclination of sin. And it's been like that from Genesis. Do y'all hear me? It's been like that since Genesis. 165. The text for 165. The text for 165. Y'all didn't have that one.
Yeah, we answered.
What was the text?
Jesus.
Acts 22:16.
22 what?
Yeah.
22:16. I'm just asking.
No. Acts 22:16. No.
Ah, okay, well, come on. Okay, what's the text? What's the text?
I didn't have a text, I just remember
Okay,
reading.
that's why I chose Gentile, because I found the text for that.
What was it?
The one for Gentiles is 22, 21, and 22.
But Gentiles is not the right answer.
But okay, but the question says, because in 22 it says they listened to him until this word, and then they raised their voices and said, away with this fellow from the earth, for he is not fit to live. And he previously had said, then he, which is Jesus, said to me, depart, for I will send you far from here to the Gentiles. And he said, until that's the way my Bible reads. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Just show me. 22, 21, and 22 says that when he mentioned the Gentiles, when the mob, they listened to him on the conversion and all that, his road to the Damascus and all that. And they didn't.
But he was talking about that's
I understand
what God
what
said to
he
him.
implied, but I'm just
That's
saying.
what God said.
And that's Acts 22.
22, 21, and 22. Then he, which is Jesus, said to me, depart, for I will send you far from here. He had already mentioned Jesus up at the I am Jesus, and that when he professed how it happened to him on the road to Damascus, which is up in 8, 9, 10, 11, like that. And then he also
That's
mentioned
right.
this. But now when I went down to the end of that and went over into the beginning of when he is professing his Roman citizenship, they didn't start the ruckus until he mentioned the Gentiles.
That's right. That's right. That's a fact.
And it just speaks to me that they were listening up until that point.
That's
when
right.
he tried to be inclusive with the Gentiles, they wouldn't have it.
When he said to them, then he said to me, and he's talking about Jesus,
Right, on the road to Damascus.
depart, for I will send you far from here to the Gentiles. So when he says that Jesus said to him, he to depart, and that he was going to send them to the Gentiles. That's when they said, oh no.
But are they repeating what he's repeating what Jesus said to them?
That's right. That's right. He is telling them. He is telling them. Right. He is giving. Let me see. So I tell the Lord that they know that in every in the synagogue, in prison, and let me see. And it happened that I turned make haste and get out of Jerusalem quickly, for they will not receive a testimony concerning me. So I said, Lord, they know that in every synagogue I imprison and beat those who believe, who believe on you. And when the blood of your martyr Stephen was shed, I also was standing by, consenting to his death and guarding the clothes of those who were killing him. Then he said to me, depart, for I will send you far from here to the Gentiles. And it says, and they listened to him until this word. And then they raised their voices and said, he's not fit to live, kill him. Right. So when he mentioned that Jesus said to him, I'm sending you to the Gentiles. That's right. I got a renege on that.
Because he had said,
right.
I'm just saying.
Okay. But he's
no, and that's actually right. Right. As he was telling Mama about his conversion, when he got to the point where Jesus said to him, I'm going to send you to the Gentiles, that's when they said they wouldn't have it. Because what they are all up in the air about was the fact that Paul is saying, actually there's two things. Paul is saying that Jesus is alive, and he's saying that Jesus now is including the Gentiles to a salvation that only they believe that they were. That's right. So then they are doubly upset. Okay? So I have to. So the answer that would be Acts 20 what?
21, 22, 21.
Okay.
That's right.
Yes. Go ahead.
In my Bible, it's in red. It's written in red, so that's Jesus talking.
Exactly. Right. That's Paul giving an account of what Jesus said.
Right, what Jesus said.
Right.
So that's why it's in red.
Right.
He's quoting. Okay.
Right. So then, when Paul mentions that Jesus told him to go and get the Gentiles, that's when they said we got to do it.
Well, you got to go back to where they beat him in the temple, because they beat him in the temple because they accused him of bringing Gentiles into the temple.
Mighty
So
fine.
that's where I.
Great observation. Okay, mighty fine.
Kathy got her hand up.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
She was reading, my mom said these people listened intensely to Paul when the word Gentiles brought all their anger and spoke of pride.
Right.
It was an attack on their Jewish
They
people.
were supposed to be a light to Gentiles, but you can't tell them about one Gentile.
Right.
Right. So when he said that the Gentiles will inherit, will get the same inheritance as a Jew, the same privilege as a Jew, they said, oh no, see that? They said, see that? We told you that he was a turncoat. Okay? All right. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Well, we got one more? We got one more. Okay. You want to go up? What's the question?
Paul had privilege of getting instruction.
Oh, that's an easy one. Okay. Yeah, Paul had the privilege of getting instruction in Judaism by one of the greatest Jewish teachers. And what was his name? What was his name?
Gamaliel.
What's it?
Yeah.
if I ask 5 different folk to say that man's name, they're going to say it 5 different ways.
Gamaliel.
You know what he means.
Gamaliel.
Gamaliel. Mighty fine, sure will well. Okay, let's go to our text. Thank you so much. Very good. Okay.
You said what verse?
What's the text on that? 22:3. Acts 22:3. Gamaliel. Right. Okay, y'all. Okay, so they go to the temple. They arrest Paul. And Paul in chapter 22. Paul tells of his Jewish heritage, as it were. You remember, he tells of his Jewish heritage. He goes on to tell how he met Christ on the Damascus Road, and the instruction that he received, and even the verses that we were just going over once again in chapter 22. The mob they had raised against Paul, and the centurion comes and he rescues Paul from being beaten down, being killed in the temple, and then the centurion, the captain of the guard, as it were, the captain of the guard, he wants to interrogate Paul further, and I shared with you that he was actually going to get a confession out of Paul one way or the other, and then Paul shares with him chapter 23. Okay. Paul is talking to the council. Y'all remember that? He shares with them that he didn't have any bad conscience about what he had been preaching, what he had been teaching after coming into the knowledge of Christ. You remember we kind of went over, I said Paul did a little, he got a little mad at the high priest when Paul got to talking, and the high priest had somebody slap Paul in the mouth. Y'all remember that? Mm-hmm. Do you remember for it? Mm-hmm. The high priest had somebody come and slap Paul in the mouth, and I said to you that Paul didn't say, "Oh, I really wish you hadn't done that. I wish you hadn't hit me in my mouth." Right? No, Paul said, "Doggone. So you gonna slap me in the mouth?" He said, "God is gonna slap you upside your head in your mouth."
You white wall.
That's right. What he called him?
Whitey wall.
He said, "You whited wall." See, y'all might say something different.
Yeah.
And that's how I come to see people. And no matter how you want to try to translate this, look at this. Now see, this is cussing to Paul. He called him. You heard everything. Called me everything but a child of God. Paul didn't say, "Oh, you man, anointed man." He said, "You whited it. You whited wall, clean on the outside and stinking on the inside." And a matter of fact, he's actually kind of using what Jesus used one time when Jesus was talking to the Pharisees, Sadducees. He said, "You whited sepulchres, or you whited graves." You see, that's right. Jesus said that. Mm-hmm. He said, "On the outside you're clean and slick and white." He said, "But on the inside you're full of dead men's bones and stench." Sure enough, our Lord said that, and He didn't call him a child of God. So then, and then Paul goes on to reveal that he is a Sadducee. Now you're going to see a question on your next questionnaire. What do the Sadducees believe? What do the Pharisees believe?
They believe in the resurrection.
They do not believe in the resurrection.
One believe in the Pharisees, like Paul, believed in the resurrection.
They did not believe in the resurrection. They believed in drink, be merry.
The Sadducees did not believe.
So the Pharisees believed.
There's no afterlife. The Sadducees did not believe in the resurrection. They didn't believe there was an afterlife. They just said drink and be merry.
Okay, and the Pharisees.
That's the opposite.
Okay, now an easy way to remember.
Okay, what's the easy?
An easy way to remember is that Paul was a Pharisee. What they were accusing him of was preaching. Watch this. What they were accused, what Paul uses as a point of defense, he said, why are you Pharisees accusing me when I am preaching being raised from the dead? So Paul was a Pharisee. They did believe in resurrection from the dead. The Sadducees did not. All you have to remember is what Paul preached. Paul preached resurrection from the dead. He was a... That's right. Pharisees believed in the resurrection. Sadducees said, ain't no. Eat, drink, and be merry. That's right. Not only did they not believe in the resurrection, they did not believe in spiritual beings. They didn't believe in evil spirits. They didn't believe in angels. You hear what I'm saying? None of that. The Sadducees did. Okay? They didn't believe in angels. Spirit realm, and stick a pin in this also. I think it was Brother Garrett was asking the question. He said, well, why do we have so many different points of belief and all the other kind of thing in the churches and all the other kind of thing? Now, here you have people who are studying the same law. They were studying the law and the prophets. But as time went on, they added stuff for particular agendas, for particular purposes, to draw folk after themselves over against drawing them to God. Even in the Old Testament, God says to them, you ought to be a light unto the Gentiles. The Jews were supposed to be something to show the world, the then known world, how it is to be in fellowship with the Creator of all things. But they were adding stuff. Had some great speakers, had some great leaders, had some great soldiers, and all this other kind of thing. And so they started to hype all this stuff on themselves. And so that's how I'm saying to you, don't think that there's something super peculiar about being drawn away from God by our own sinful tendencies. You cannot. There's nobody that comes into a fellowship of it. It's just like so many other folk that have come here since I've been here, and I've baptized. Actually, I've baptized a few folk since coming here. What now? The only thing that I can do is I need to encourage them to come and have progress in their relationship with God. I can't hang on. Listen, and it's not for me to make anybody. It's for me to encourage you to do it, and for whatever reason you came, you offered. If in fact you did, see, that's the thing. If in fact you are calling yourself to be a sacrifice, because this is what it is. Paul talks about offering yourself as a living sacrifice. Now, that is different than any other faith thing, because sacrifices don't live. Sacrifices die. Now God is calling for you to offer yourself as a living sacrifice. So, and that's our next instances of study, we're going to go into the doctrines of the church. We're going to study the doctrine of angels, the doctrine of the church. We're going to study the different, because the doctrine of baptism, I'm sure that there are some aspects of baptism that we are not aware of. But once you see them and how God has interwoven his plan for us through all of these, they appear to be metaphors and allegory and the like in scripture, but now it is amazing, and it will put you in awe of your God, that in his infinite wisdom, in his just awesome tapestry of the, it's how God has woven this stuff, even in your baptism, and what baptism is, and how the words are used in scripture, and what they really mean to us, being baptized, and what Jesus does for baptism. That's just so much. I ain't gonna live long enough to just get it. Now, these are things that I'm excited about, because in all of my going, sitting in this class and this all that kind of thing, folk just are not, they ain't excited about scripture. And scripture is, you looking at this stuff and having just explained where you can hear it and see it for yourself now. I don't nobody think about Paul cussing. I don't nobody think about, I'm talking about, when we think about Jesus, don't nobody think about Jesus being so indignant that he goes in there and flips over, angrily turns over, because he sees what they have done and are doing. And listen, all of this has gone on for hundreds of years, and they have been teaching God's people to follow that mess. It ought to do something to our leadership. There is a righteous indignation. There is a point where we should be angry, righteously indignant. And for what and we yet so divided. Okay. Good God. I ain't gonna, but we're gonna look at some things and pray God that as you are able to see these things with fresh eyes. And it's not about what you don't know. But it's about looking at something with freshness, fresh eyes, fresh application. Then you can talk about it in your own personality. You can talk about it and explain it like you want to, Peter. And you don't have to worry about the these and the thous and the thines. And just like, see, people think the devil is scared of a translation, like they're going to cast out, I command thee in the name of the righteous Son of God. That don't mean nothing to the devil. Who are you that's doing it? See? Talk to the devil just like this. Yeah, I see you. I told you. Messing with my mama. I said, yeah, I see you. I was talking to my mother. I said, I sure see you. I see how you, and I gotta give it to you, man. You trying this thing about. I said, but you're gonna lose. So I was holding my mother. I said, yeah. I said, oh yeah. I said, but my mother belongs to Christ. And for whatever her lot, for having to endure, to go through this, she belongs to Christ. And I sat down here. When my mother was going through, we just sat there and we just rocked. Till she fell asleep in my arm. And now she. They said, oh yeah, your mama's gonna be on this medication for the rest of her life. My mama came and took the medication and threw it in the weeds. She said, the Lord told me. 25, 30 years. Do y'all hear me? I know what God can do. Don't never, I don't care if there is no sign at all. Just keep this in mind. He's going to show up on time. He's going to show up. Be encouraged, y'all. Be encouraged. Yeah. So Paul says, I'm talking about chapter 23. Go to chapter 23 with me. And I'm past. We've actually read this over to verse 11. Verse 11, chapter 23.
We got verse 30.
We got to verse 30. You got to verse 30? Okay, well, because that's something did I tell you about? Actually, you're right. We did get to the point because I asked you about it, and you'll see this again. I asked you about, because there's some folk in the church that didn't know that Paul had some family that's mentioned in Scripture. Did y'all know that until we went over that?
No.
Most folk don't know that Paul has that's on your next question there. Who's mentioned in Paul's family?
His sister.
Mighty fine. Mighty fine. So his sister, nephew, they hear that some folk are planning to kill their beloved cousin, uncle, sister, brother, uncle, right?
Yeah.
So they go so then, and I'm on, so we actually have read through this here. So then, Paul's nephew then goes and informs the authorities, as it were, that they planted to kill Paul. So then, verse 22. So the commander told the young man to go his way, and don't tell anybody that he has shared with him what he about the plan to kill Paul. So he called for 2 centurions, and they got some soldiers together, and they wrote a letter that said to Claudius Lynsias, the most excellent governor Felix. He says this man was seized by the Jews and was about to be killed by them, and he tells him how he rescued Paul from that, right? Okay, then over to verse 31. He concludes his letter with, I send him immediately to you, Felix, and also commanded his accusers to state before you the charges against him. So then, the Jewish authority says, we're going to send Paul now to Felix, right? And he tells the folk that are accusing Paul of sedition, because that's what they are, sedition, planning to overthrow, the government, that kind of thing. He said, now y'all come to up here to Felix's place, and then make your accusation against the governor here, or to the governor here. Okay, then the soldiers, as they were, verse 31, the soldiers, as they were commanded, took Paul, brought him by night to Antipatris. The next day, they left the horsemen to go on with him and returned to the barracks. And when they came to Caesarea and had delivered the letter to the governor, they also presented Paul to him. And when the governor had read it, he asked what province he was from. And when he understood that he was from Cilicia, he said, I'll hear you when your accusers also have arrived. Y'all got that? And he commanded him to be kept in Herod's praetorium. Okay. Come on up.
Okay, come on up. That's about the horse. You're
You're 20.
We need to start 24.
That's the end of the chapter.
24.
I sure saw that. Now come on up with it.
Come on up.
Bring the next chapter.
24. Acts 24.
I'm getting it, yeah.
Okay. So after 5 days, Ananias, the high priest, descended with the elders, and a certain orator named Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul. And when he was called forth, now watch this, now get this, check this out now. See if y'all get it. And now this fellow Tertullus, he was a professional orator. In other words, he knows how to put some words out there that make you go, yeah. So Tertullus began to accuse him, saying, "Seeing that by you, O great Felix," watch this. "Seeing that by you, O great Felix, we enjoy great quietness, and that very worthy deeds are done to this nation by your providence." Now here's what we accusing Paul. But he's buttering up. Yeah. He says, "We accept it always, and in all places, most noble Felix, with all thanksgiving. Notwithstanding, that I be not further tedious unto you, O great Felix, I pray you that you would hear us of your clemency a few words. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow, a mover of sedition, and among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader." You're going to find this on your questionnaire. What were Christians called? They were called
Nazarene.
That's right. They were called the sect of the Nazarene. So Tertullus is saying, and he is the ringleader of this sect called the, commanding his accusers to
Verse 6.
Oh, you ready? Okay. Who also has gone about to profane the temple, a lie, whom we took and would have judged according to our law. Now we would have taken care of him. But your man, watch this here. But the chief captain, Lysias, came upon us, and with great violence, a lie, took him out of our hands, commanding his accusers to come to you by examining, of whom yourself may take knowledge of all these things, whereof we accuse him. And the Jews also said, "That's right." When he got finished, the Jews said, "Amen." Okay? Right. Sure enough. They said amen that these things were so. Then Paul, after the governor had beckoned to him to speak, answered, "For as much as I know that you have been many years a judge to this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself." And all that is saying is, Paul knows the governor. Paul knows of Felix. And let me just talk about Felix a minute. Historically, Felix was a tyrant. Felix was a sure enough terrible somebody. And yet, Tertullus was talking about him like he was some kind of saint. But Felix was notorious for his tyranny, as it were. And I'm going to tell you something else about Felix. I ain't going to talk about him too bad, but Felix is white. Felix' Bible. Okay. Show up. I beg of these for as much as I know, he says, I cheerfully answer for myself. Now, I know that you've been on the job for many years with this nation, Felix. Know you. Because that you may understand that there are yet but 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem for to worship. In other words, Felix knows where Paul was for only 12 days. Okay. For these 12 days. He knows when he went to Jerusalem 12 days ago. Okay. And they neither found me in the temple disputing with any man, because doing that ceremony for purification. Neither raising up people, wasn't a whole crowd of folk around there. I didn't have my group there. I wasn't trying to do anything. Neither in the synagogues nor in the city. He did not go to the synagogues in Jerusalem because James and them wouldn't let him. Okay, when he got there and told, he went to see the apostles, he went to the church leaders and shared with them what great things God has done. They said, oh, no, then that's when they say, why don't you be a become part of this ceremony thing? So he ain't been around Jerusalem doing nothing like what they said. Okay, so then, neither can they prove the things whereof they accuse me. He said, but this I confess to you, that after, and this should be capitalized, okay? But after the way, another name that the Christians were called is what?
The way.
That's right. Paul mentions this more than one time during our discourses that we read, okay? Another name, the second of the Nazarenes, the way, okay? Okay. But I confess to you that after the way, which they call heresy, okay, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and the prophets. Now, Paul is saying they cannot say that I am preaching or teaching anything that's not backed up by the law and the prophets. Okay? He preaches the resurrection from the dead, which the law teaches. The prophets prophesy about. Okay. Okay. And have hope toward God, which they themselves also agree with. That there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. I'm going to ask you, where do you find the resurrection of the just and the unjust in Scripture? That's for you to find. That's not going to be in Acts. But where do you find, I'll tell you this, it is one of the major prophets. The resurrection of the just and the unjust, so that we are clear. Paul is attesting to something that was prophesied during the old covenant, as it were. So then, the resurrection, and just understand this, everybody gets resurrected.
Right.
But when you find it in the Old Testament text, there's one place in it, it's going to be, they are going to be resurrected unto damnation, condemnation. And there is a resurrection unto life eternal in the presence of God. Okay? Where is that? Where is that? He is saying something that Felix is aware of, that the Jews that he has been sharing with, they are aware of also. There is going to be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. So how do the Sadducees get so popular amongst the Jews as authorities of the law, and they don't believe the law and the prophets? Why are there churches today? And now, here you are in one of the largest, and I'm not, just don't want to name drop per se, one of the largest churches, denominations that were on the planet, and you teach your parishioners that when you partake of communion or what we call the Lord's Supper, that before you eat the bread, it literally, not figuratively, not metaphorically, it literally becomes the flesh of Jesus Christ. Before you drink the wine, it literally becomes blood. How do you? And that's a part, that's one of your foundational. Come on here. It does not make sense to me. That's called transubstantiation. There's nothing in Scripture. And just understand this. How is it that you take what Jesus instituted and what we have as what we call it the Lord's Supper? Y'all know that? And before Jesus, is taken to be crucified, he has that last supper with the disciples. Now watch this here. Jesus is standing there with them, right? He says, I want you to do exactly what I'm doing, right? So how is it that you are following the example of Christ when the bread that he broke didn't turn into his flesh? When the drink that he drank and gave to those men did not turn into blood. He is the example. But some man comes along and says, I got a new revelation. How do we get so far? He said, God says, I better reckon that they have a zeal unto God, but not according to knowledge. And with their lips, they do worship.
Right.
But their heart is far from me. Love the Lord thy God, the greatest command. Love the Lord with all your strength, all your mind, all your heart, all your. Right. So then, okay. Let's want to be the resurrection of the just and unjust. And herein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense toward God. In other words, my conscience is clear toward God. My conscience is clear toward men. Yeah. When you can stand before any teacher and he can truthfully say, my conscience is clear toward God. My conscience is clear toward men. I don't have to take nothing back. Yeah. Because the word, Paul says, the law and the prophets hold me up. The word of God holds me up. When you are dealing with this life, the word of God will hold you up. Your faith in him, his word, his precious promises, it'll hold you up. I ain't studying with, they're talking that stuff. My conscience is clear. Now, after many years, I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings. Now, watch this here. Paul did all of that evangelizing. Years out there, spreading the gospel. He comes back to his own people. Comes back to the big church, mother church. Yeah. And they said, man, you going back and just do this. He said, many years I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings. Whereupon certain Jews, when he went back to Jerusalem, he said, certain Jews came down there from Asia and found me in a purification ceremony in the temple. I didn't have a whole bunch of folk, didn't have an entourage, didn't have a whole big, you know what I'm saying? Didn't have a whole bunch of folk with no tumult, no confusion going on. Watch this. Who ought to have been here before you and object if they had authority. In other words, the ones that came from Asia that caused this mess, they ain't even here. Yeah. If they had something, yeah. Or else let these same here say, if they have found any evil doing in me, while I stood before the council, that's the Sanhedrin, except it be for this one voice that I cried standing among them, touching the resurrection of the dead, I am called in question by you this day. And when Felix heard these things, having more perfect knowledge of that way, and this is talking about Christianity, he deferred them and said, when Lysias, the chief captain, comes back, he says, I'll know the uttermost of your matter. He's going to give me some great detail. And he commanded, a centurion to keep Paul and to let him have liberty, and that he should forbid none of his acquaintances to minister or come to him. Okay? He's not going to stop anybody. In other words, they were giving Paul like a house arrest, if you will. He's going to be shackled to a guard at all times, but he can walk around and that kind of thing, and he'll have a specific place where he'll be kept. All right. Okay. After certain days, when Felix came with his Drusilla, which was a he sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith in Christ. And as he reasoned the righteous, and I'm going to read that for a second. And as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, judgment to come, the wrath of God to come, Felix trembled and answered, "Go your way, for this time. When I have a convenient season, I'll call for you." He hoped also, watch this, he hoped also that money would be given him from Paul, that he might set him free. Wherefore, he sent for Paul again and again and again. But after how long?
2 years.
You'll see that again. After 2 years, Festus came into Felix's room. And Felix, willing to show the Jews a pleasure, left Paul. So he kept on calling Paul back, hoping that Paul would do what? Give me some of that payola. Maybe we can work something out. Isn't that something? Wickedness in high places. Wickedness in high places. Father, we thank you again for this opportunity, Lord. Always we pray, Master, that you would use these times for our help, for our benefit, that we are better equipped to share our faith, to share the gospel message in times like these. Wheresoever time even you would find us, use us, Lord, in your services. Our prayer, go down with us from this place as you have times past. Careful we are to give you the glory, praise. All belong to you and our Master. Until that great day when we shall see you face to face. In the blessed name of Jesus, I pray thee now. And they all said, Amen. Amen.